Happy Monday, everyone. So today I am talking about catnip. I've gotten this message before and I kind of brushed it off, but then every week I kept on thinking to myself I should really make that video about catnip. So someone asked me about catnip. They thought it was only for cats and didn't know that you could use it for us, human beings. And yes, you can. So it has different properties. You can look them up online, as I always say, but what I'm going to talk about is how I use them and what I get from it, okay? And so, first way I use it, I have it in a oil form. So I have catnip oil. This is practical uses. When I first channeled the herb, it was actually more for psychic development, developing the third eye, and also working in dream time, which is what I do a lot. So that was what I first was attracted to it for. But what made me first start using it was actually to repel mosquitoes. And so I would go into spiritual spaces, which was a really funny place, like, going to yoga, teaching yoga. And there's another place I used to work and I'd get bit up like horribly. And this place had all kinds of stuff going on. There were psychics, there were massage therapists, it was just a lot going on. And I would get torn up and I didn't like it. Which is something interesting. Every time I've gone through maybe a very deep spiritual transformation, mosquitoes have been just around me. So I always had to find something. So catnip was what I used. And I've used lavender and other things, but catnip it was a new thing. I said, hey, I should finally use it. All right. From there, I started using it for other things. At first, I was going to sleep with it. So I would take a tiny minuscule drop, put it under my tongue, and I'd go to sleep. And what I found was that different from mugwort, different from valerian root, lavender. I mean, I use a lot of stuff. What this was that I found that I was able to sleep well, wake up feeling good, and at the same time have those deep dreams of working on the inner workings of the mind. So whereas a mugwort might be more fantasy, like kind of like fantastical kind of situations where you're going in all these wild worlds and all of that, catnip is more familiar. You're seeing people that you know, that you work with, that you see every day, and you're working out those kinks that are in your everyday life, and also starting to see the little magic in those bits of life. So that's what I found catnip was doing on a metaphysical level, if you will. Another reason for catnip, and I can say I use this in the tea form, mostly for those experiences as well. So tea and oil is what I would probably use these for. So I have my little tea ball, and this is what I use. People always ask me, how much do you use in a tea? Well, if you look here, it's about that much, okay? I just put the herb in, and I have these herbs in bulk, so I just kind of grab some and put it in. It's intuitive. I don't measure this stuff out, but this is pretty much showing you just now. I don't know how much that is. Maybe what's that, a teaspoon and a half, or maybe more than a teaspoon. That's about how much I use for a tea. And sometimes I'll mix it, and I'll mix it with like lavender just to calm and soothe. But I find that the actual catnip herb is good for what I just said. Those inner workings, the details of life, finding a little magic and where you can twist and twerk things, revealing bits of yourself to yourself in the work life, your home life, your regular life, your human life. Really helpful in that, and getting you to look deep into yourself. So this is also a good herb to meditate with. All right. So if you take the oil, I like the oil. I'll put a little bit under my tongue, and it works. Now, another thing that I was using as well was the tincture. And so if you guys remember, I was making tinctures, and let's see where it says catnip. This is just a mono tincture, so I'm only using catnip in this, and I would use this as well. This one I found, this is kind of, fun fact. When I was doing the research, it was good for if you were feeling sick or something. It was good for your immune system, so I would use it for my immune system as well. And I like the tincture form for that. So these are the three ways I use. These are three, different forms that I use it, and they're for different reasons at different times. It's also very intuitive. It's also about, well, what do I want to do? Like, what's the easiest? The tea takes the longest, so the tea is more of a process. It's like a strong processing that I'm going through. And usually I'm going to use other herbs than just catnip. If I'm using catnip solely, I'm going to use the oil. And catnip oil is a little expensive, but I mean, I use this pretty regularly, and a little has gone a long way. Probably had this for a few months, okay? So think about like that. Where I got it from, I'm pretty sure I got it on Amazon at the time. The brand is Moon Magic. The free herbs I got, I think is San Francisco Herb Company, something like that. This is where you can get a lot of bulk stuff. The vodka I got from the liquor store, you guys, if you want to know, because everyone asks these questions. I'm like, come on, you guys, Google. How do you think I figured it out? But okay, fine. I understand. I do understand. Sometimes it's just easier to figure it out. I use Veil vodka, if you want to know, just because I like the title. And I was looking for something specific? I was just looking for a vodka that seemed kind of just basic, but to the point. I didn't want anything else. And I used the same herbs that I got from the San Francisco Herb Company. Okay? So that's my catnip experience. This is why I use catnip, and I hope you enjoy and happy using it. And tell me what you do. If you guys use catnip, let people know how you use it, why you use it. It's so helpful because everyone has different responses to it. And I forgot about this. I would experiment with it because remember I first started using it as really topical to repel bugs, and I would put it in my lotion, and just so you know, maybe about 8 or 9 drops. And it's been used like in witchy terms. Oh yes, and I use this in my love oil as well. It's good to attract men. People use it to attract men, and it has that alluring kind of, I mean, it works in a really interesting way. So in my love oil, I combined a few other herbs, but the lemon balm and catnip seem to go really well together and bringing things in. So yes, when I first started using this oil, there were men coming out of the woodworks, just like little male cats slinking around the slinking around areas. They were coming out. I forgot about that. That is something. But I feel that has a lot to do with my mind more so than the oil or the combination of the two. Because what the oils will do, and aromatherapy will tell you, aromatherapy does, it gets you in a mood, whatever it is. You know, you inhale peppermint or you inhale eucalyptus or sage, and it might uplift you. Now, if you're uplifted and feeling that way, then your world around you is going to respond that way, right? So catnip has maybe more of a, it gets you deeper in. I said it does those inner workings. So if you're more into yourself, in tune, kind of into who you are, you're going to also start to draw people in, right? So that's how aromatherapy, I'm learning how aromatherapy works. As it gets you in that mood, then your world around you is going to reflect that, right? So there you go. It's not going to be the same if you inhale lemongrass. Lemongrass might make you happy or uplift you, and you might find that the people around you are the same way. Well, catnip has a different response, and I found that when I would apply catnip on me, I would get into a certain mood, and of course that would attract people in that mood. All right, so there you go. Hallelujah, holla magic. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. If you want me to do more videos on the herbs I use, which I do use a lot, let me know. And maybe if there's something that you're curious about, I might be interested in purchasing and trying it out and letting you know what I think about it. So hey, let me know. All right, bye everyone.